minute, nothing seemed real. Her son Nolan was suddenly speaking in place of the priest. Ellen snapped to attention to hear what he had to say. Tears flowed freely from his green eyes down his cheeks. He didn't try to stop the tears or wipe them from his face. He stood beside the priest, trembling, looking like a boy, not a man, even though his large stature overpowered the small man beside him. "I can't believe my dad is gone. He was a good father." Nolan ran a hand through his curly brown hair. "He tried for years to get me into sports, especially golf, but he eventually realized that was a waste. I was no athlete." Nolan chuckled. "And he supported me when I became interested in other things. He once learned how to play Magic the Gathering, a fantasy card game, just so he could play it with me. We had some good times fishing together, too. He worked hard, he and my mom, to give our family a good life. I wish—" Nolan couldn't speak for several seconds, which broke Ellen's heart. She jumped up and went to his side and squeezed his hand. Nolan smiled at Ellen and turned back to the crowd. "I wish he hadn't left us so soon. He was loved dearly and will be dearly missed." Ellen hugged her son. He hugged her back. She held his shaking, trembling, sobbing form in her arms like she had when he was a boy and had gotten hurt. It was at that moment that Ellen finally realized Paul was gone, and she, too, began to weep. After the funeral, family and friends gathered at Ellen's house, and for a while she escaped her grief to play hostess. People had brought so much food. Ellen arranged the containers of sandwiches, pasta, casseroles, and other dishes along her kitchen bar and invited everyone to make a plate, buffet style. Tanya and Sue were at her side in the kitchen, brewing tea and filling paper cups with ice. Once everyone had gone, except for Ellen's children and Sue and Tanya, the 6 of them sat together in the den. Allison was cuddled against Ellen on the love seat, like she used to do when she was a girl. Her long brown hair hung in her face as if she was hiding behind a curtain, not wanting to be seen. Nolan and Lane sat beside one another on the sofa, each clutching a decorative pillow in his lap. 2 boys could never be so different. Nolan had dark hair, was a doctor and scientist, and was interested in superheroes, anime, and video games, whereas Lane had lighter hair, like Ellen's, and was a musician and artist whose paintings were every bit as good as Ellen's, if not better. Sue sat in Paul's recliner eating a piece of chocolate pie. Her dark bangs needed a trim, for they nearly covered her round, dark eyes. Tanya, her blonde hair pulled back into a ponytail, sipped a warm mug of tea in a chair beside Sue. "You should get a dog," Allison said to Ellen. "Maybe a miniature poodle to keep you company." Ellen patted her daughter's knee. "I'll be all right." The thought of a dog was comforting, but she traveled too often. "A dog is the last thing she needs," Sue said as she lifted a piece of chocolate pie with her fork. "What she really needs is a cruise." Ellen rolled her eyes. "I'm not ready for that. Not yet." "What about a trip to Portland?" Tanya asked. "Portland, Texas, or Portland, Oregon?" Lane asked. "Oregon," Tanya clarified. "Why there, of all places?" Nolan asked. Tanya glanced at Sue. Then Sue said, "I was going to hold off talking to you about this, Ellen, but Tanya's jumped the gun." "Jumped the gun about what?" Ellen straightened her back. "Might as well tell me now." "I was contacted through my blog by a billionaire from Portland," Sue explained. "Wait a minute," Ellen said. "You have a blog?" "How was blog the word in that sentence that caught your attention?" Tanya asked. "I told you about it," Sue said. "I blog about our projects, about Ghost Healers Incorporated." Sue took another bite of her pie. "She has quite a following," Tanya added. "Why do you think I'm always taking so many pictures?" Sue asked. "To document the before and after," Ellen said. "Exactly," Sue said. "For my blog. And I write about the ghost mysteries we solve." Tanya took a sip of her tea.